You should win a free strap. I was redo that.
What
I was so
What
ready.
are you in a Taliban? That seemed like, I am Michael. You should sponsor my carrot.
I was thinking of too many things. I was like, this will be funny.
What is up, Watch Fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Vintage Watch Shop.
My name is Michael, and this video is sponsored by Factor 75, aka Factor, my breakfast today.
More on them later.
I've also never looked at you while I've been saying something like that. It's really weird.
Yeah. All right, if you guys are new to this channel, Michael and I take a kind of podcast approach. The ultimate subject of today's conversation is going to be Tudor and what they're going to be releasing this year. But we're going to take a roundabout way getting there. Talk about a bunch of stuff. One, why I honestly don't give a shit about what Tudor's going to be releasing this year.
Yes.
And a couple of other things, you know, from Rolex and all these other brands. So, you know, if you love watches, this will be a fun episode. So let's get into it.
Okay, our much anticipated prediction season is not upon us, but this is the pre-prediction season. Today we're talking about Tudor.
Yes.
And actually, what's interesting is we are much less predicting new watches and more predicting the great slashing of Tudor.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I predict this year that Tudor will continue to do nothing interesting at all. Just as they have forever. They
We'll get into that. They produce...
Tudor, listen, watch people.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Tudor makes awesome watches.
Amazing watches.
Phenomenal stuff. I love particularly their silver black bait. Tudor makes great stuff.
Fantastic value.
Okay. There is nothing interesting about Tudor.
Tudor has never taken a dare in their life.
Yeah, you know,
a risk.
Right. Born to dare. You. Like, what is it? What are you talking? And by the way, what ridiculous brand speak? Born to dare.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I love Tudor though. Anyways.
Yeah, I love Tudor. You know, I'm sure. Literally, and I'm always very aware of this. Right in our videos, there are thousands of people right now wearing a Tudor.
Oh yeah.
Thousands that are watching this. Those are phenomenal watches. I love Tudor. I would recommend Tudor to virtually anyone for a million different reasons. I love Tudor. And we'll do predictions, but I do have a hard time rallying and getting excited about what's Tudor going to release, because who gives a f***?
Every article I've read, every comment I've read has been like, and obviously my prediction for 2023 for Tudor is that they will be playing it safe. They will be playing the hits.
Yeah.
A Hodinkee week on the wrist came out for the Pelagos 39.
Yeah.
James Stacey, I think.
Tudor introduces the Black Bay Wed. Like, wait, what? They pre-dip them in water. Like, what? There's nothing different. Wait, you mean it's just the old Black Bay? Yeah, but it's been in water.
Is it wet when I get it? Oh, no, we dry it off.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's odd.
And everyone's like, wow, interesting.
Wow, that's amazing. But yeah, James Stacey,
it wears really well.
People talk about the wearability. I think the cold water must have shrunk the steel down a little bit.
George Costanza's in the back.
But anyways, yeah, Hodinkee did a recent week on the wrist for the Pelagos 39. And he called it a dad watch or mom's watch, and it was just like it's just a watch, you know. There's nothing particularly daring. It's cool that it's in titanium, but respectable size. It's black. They took away like a bunch of things that made the original Pelagos very aggressive looking.
Yeah,
it's just a watch.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of crazy things that I think will come out of Tudor. There's a lot of crazy things that you could say you want,
right?
But they are in that classic like your cool older brother will not let you release something that daring because it's kind of going against everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to show you Speedmaster. Speaking of things that are played out.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you, though. I wanted to show you my favorite Speedmaster ever. Have you seen the Ed White?
Yeah. It's an iconic Speedmaster. Are you kidding?
No. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's the one that you have to like be allocated.
Yeah, you just can't get it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
apparently they made a fortune on those.
Well, this was a very small topic, but I just feel like it's not limited production, not limited release.
Yes.
Tell me what the point of that is. Just for hype? This is a beautiful watch at a more approachable size.
Well, are you asking the question, what's the difference between limited production and limited release?
No. I'm asking...
Because that's an interesting question.
Okay.
That's like what's the difference between being exclusive and being dating? And being
that is what I'm asking. Yes, you said it in a different way.
Like limited production means we do this. You can get one. We can get one for you. We need to know you a little bit better. Yep. But we can get one. Limited releases, they're sold out.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
It's over. And that's it. Which was my favorite Speedmaster, which was the yellow gold with the red bezel. When I visited Omega's headquarters in Bienne, Switzerland, they showed me the yellow gold Speedmaster with the red bezel, and I was with Sally. I really loved the watch. First of all, I loved being at Omega. I really wanted to buy the watch. You remember it?
I remember. You got last
Plus, I was with Sal, and I was like, it'd be kind of fun to buy this watch, and
it'd be special.
It'd be special,
Yeah.
Anyway, they just said no. Like, it wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't really a conversation. And then someone asked me later on if I was serious, and I was like...
Which is just the worst question.
You know what I wanted to answer back? Do I look like a watch journalist to you? Like, yeah, right. I'm serious.
That's like if you ask a girl on a date and she says, "Are you serious?" You're like...
Well, now I'm not.
Yeah, right. What? Why would you limit this at all?
Well, because, it's a $15,000 Speedmaster. I mean,
so you think
it's a $15,000 like hand assembled Speedmaster. I think. I mean, it's like
Senna gold. That's what that is. I look at that like, I want a Speedmaster. This is you would upsell me. Or I don't know how much extra you'd make, but the Sapphire Sandwich is $7,600. You would upsell me $7,000 for this watch because it's a better size and I think it looks better. No doubt. If I was in the boutique and I went for the Sapphire Sandwich, and they're like, well, this it might be better suited for your wrist. I'd be like, are you kidding? Yeah, that's it.
That's interesting.
Done.
It's tough because the Speedmaster is so much less expensive than the Daytona.
Yes.
And then this is a Daytona.
Exactly.
So I don't know if I would go from Speedmaster to Ed White.
Oh,
but if I was looking at a Daytona...
But what if someone said, well, it's tough for the Daytona because that's a heavenly watch. But if someone says, hand assembled by one guy, the movement is Sedna gold, and it's a Daytona priced, a steel Daytona price.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, I mean, if I had this already, so I already had my Rolex itch, I wasn't dying for my first Rolex.
Sure.
I would consider that over the Daytona very seriously. I may actually decide on that over the Daytona.
I think
I love the bracelet too. The bracelet is that super thin, beautiful bracelet.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal watch.
Can we use our connections to get one each?
No.
Right after you get your yellow gold one.
Yeah, right after my yellow gold one. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Oh, just look at that. I looked at that. I've seen it for a while, but it just came up, I think, on my Instagram feed. And I was like, wow, that is, for me at least, a dramatically better watch than the Professional. It's a better size. I like that the lugs aren't
dramatically better. I mean, you're getting... Those are fighting words, my friend.
What do you think this... You like the Speedmaster?
I mean, the Speedmaster is phenomenal. For me. Especially the new one. I mean, the new Speedmaster. I would love a Speedmaster. The fact that I don't have one, to me, is stupid. I don't know why I don't own a Speedmaster.
It's because you don't budget.
No, I mean, it's such a fucking good watch with the new bracelet, especially.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I was downtown having a couple of drinks with some people, and some guy, some fucking stranger, has a Speedmaster on, and I was like, hey man, can I try your watch on? Swear to God, this is not last night. This is like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, no problem. Like, let's watch people. They're like, yeah. He was a young guy. He was like 30, He's like, yeah, no problem. Yeah. And I was like, this is so awesome. And he's like, I love watches. And I looked back and I wanted to say, clearly not enough. Motherfucker.
Because you don't know who you're saying.
You don't know who you're talking to. Okay. You don't even know who you're
Teddy
talking to.
Baldessar walks by. He's like, oh my God.
Oh my God, Teddy, how are you? This kid was just asking about your net worth.
You said that's your favorite roast of all time, right? Like your Google search history is Teddy Baldessar's net worth.
That's a great roast.
Anyway. I should say, like I said, for me, I look at that, even with that price tag, and I'm like,
Teddy's watching this going, I don't get it. The joke is that I would ever fucking Google that.
Teddy's sitting at home with $18 billion in his bank account that no one knows about.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, even with that $7,000 price difference, if I was going in to buy the Speedmaster, and the Omega rep said, "Oh, check this watch out," I'd be like, "Okay, done."
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
You're like, "Wow, that's the stupidest."
Well, what's kind of funny, going to the Tudor conversation is it's the ongoing kind of like battle, tango, dance, whatever between Omega and Tudor, because Tudor likes to punch up at Omega, and Omega does not punch down at Tudor because they're so much better. It's not even close.
You can't. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
A certain friend a certain person in your life, you're like, just beat this guy up, and I was like, you're so far above this guy.
So far.
That you're a bully if you do that.
You can't even do it.
You can't do that. You just have to walk away.
100%. And for the same reason that Rolex does not acknowledge Omega.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And Omega fancies themselves Rolex, and Omega very well may be. I mean, whatever. I love Omega. I love Omega.
Yeah.
But Rolex is certainly a
Rolex is
Rolex. What do you want?
Look at Swiss watch sales, and it's Rolex, and everyone else combined.
You know what I just said? I just compared the relationship between Tudor and Omega to Omega and Rolex, and I said if an Omega executive is watching this, they're gonna get upset about that but it is true. Like, sorry, you don't pay me enough to not say it. I mean,
unless you allocate me an Ed White.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the truth. Like Omega has done remarkable things. Omega represents a better customer experience, a better value for dollar oftentimes. Like, Omega is a phenomenal company that I recommend to people. When people come to me and say they want a better Rolex, I literally say, don't even waste your time. Yeah. Don't even fucking waste your time. I don't wait on lines. I waited on a line last night for 15 minutes for buns. They were good. The only reason I did it is I didn't want to be a little like bitch in front of my friends. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I don't wait on lines. Right? Yeah. Like, go to fucking Omega. The watches are just as good, often even better. They're fairly
from a
priced.
Movement standpoint.
Yeah. They're
unreal.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
That being said, from a brand sense, Omega is not Rolex yet. Okay? Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So Omega likes to try to be like Rolex, and Rolex does not even acknowledge Omega.
The tough part is Omega has one of the most famous watches of all time. Rolex has like 6 of the most famous watches of all time.
Right.
But and what's funny is this leads into the Tudor conversation. This is why I brought it up. The Speedmaster it's a beautiful watch, but it's now for Omega. It's like, of course you have the Speedmaster.
Yeah, right.
What's interesting is Tudor has the Black Bay, but it's not a Speedmaster.
Right.
The Speedmaster transcends, like, everybody's like, oh, I'm sick of this and that and that. It's like, yeah, but it is one of the most beautiful, well-designed, important watches of all time.
Totally.
Now Tudor is doing basically like playing the hits, playing it safe, being like, all right, this is it's kind of a throwback. It's a little bit more modernized, and that's it.
Yeah.
This video is brought to you by Factor, aka my breakfast and dinner for the past week.
Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever. They deliver fresh, never frozen meals right to your doorstep.
Yeah, truly. It's one of those things where I live quite far away from where I work, so sometimes, or basically every night, I come home late. I don't want to cook. I usually cook one thing that's super simple. But now with Factor, I basically have a ready meal every single day, and it's different and it's amazing. And there's all these different ones that you can get. There's keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, protein plus, ton of different things. So if you have any dietary restrictions, I'm vegetarian. Easy.
So a ton of options, high quality, and super convenient.
Yeah.
The convenience factor is huge. I know really more people than ever now are looking for solutions like Factor.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, they have a higher standard for what they're putting in their body, but they don't really have the time or the interest in preparing this stuff for themselves. Exactly. They just don't have it. And this Factor is a phenomenal option. It's the option that you've chosen now.
Yeah.
And they're terrific.
I mean, if you're very driven in whatever it is in your life, and you're putting cooking or some food on the back burner, you shouldn't do that. You lose energy, you eat less healthy, you're not the same person. Right. So if there is a service that gives you fresh, never frozen food, go for it. Why not? But yeah, also the food is just great food. I had a bunch of different options. I had risotto, I had cacio e pepe.
Nice.
Yeah. And then every morning I have a smoothie, which is great.
How is a smoothie?
Smoothie's fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's 120 calories, so it's like nothing. But I just grab one and run out the door.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Actually, that's probably the best.
Yeah, just the idea of having just a fridge full of reliable, high quality, food. Who has that? A fridge full of, high quality. Yeah. It's not common. You really do need to, or in today's day, with the amount of work that everyone does, you've got to have, a preferred, solution there. So exactly. I think it's great.
Me too. So if that is something that interests you, you can use code Theo and Harris 50 to get 50% off your first Factor box.
I think that's terrific. You guys really ought to go ahead and get your 50% off.
Yeah, check the link out in the bio. So that leads us into our Tudor conversation, which I should say, the Pelagos 39, we talked about this before, in a light blue dial, like on the original Pelagos, a fantastic watch.
Yeah.
We'll end with my cutting watches instead of our predictions, but one thing I wanted to toss out to you is, your opinion on what would happen, or just what your reaction would be if Tudor did something very daring. For example, Black Bay, full sterling silver, bracelet included.
I don't think it would ever happen.
I don't either. I'm saying something to that daring level. Because if they take a dare,
I don't even think that's that. Well, okay, so I don't think that that's a terrific example of a dare. I think that what would be like a really daring thing for Tudor to do? Like Tudor would need to like.
Wait, well, you know,
you want a dare? Here's a dare. If Tudor did what? Okay, so Tudor does what Rolex won't do to some degree.
To some degree, yes.
To some degree. They're oyster cases, alternative materials, fine. What if Tudor did what Rolex won't dare do, but not just with their materials? With, like, what was our conversation before? About the Explorer. I'm sorry, about the Milgauss. How about you make a fucking Milgauss? Like, actually put R&D, like, develop a fucking watch of your own.
Whoa.
Like, be better. Like, actually be better. Make the 40 millimeter anti-magnetic, Tudor that isn't just a Black Bay by a different name. That actually is a fucking watch. Like, is its own watch. That was not plug and play. It took time to make. Show me something that takes time to make.
And you know what that reminds me of? That, to me, interestingly, we had Omega in the middle of these two. That looks like Tudor takes Omega's approach to, like, technology and innovation.
Yeah.
And Rolex sticks to, like, the heritage, like, no, of course it's a Rolex. This is what you get with a Rolex.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, I would love to see that. And you know what I'd love to see? If Tudor, they don't have to stop it on every watch, but if they stopped doing which is a hallmark of them. From the Monte Carlo, it's a very old Tudor thing, but the flat sides of the case...
Yeah.
Even if Rolex kind of curves them out, I think that adds a lot more elegance. Even if they just change that slightly, it wouldn't be enough, but like something like that. They take the Milgauss, they change some characteristic of modern day Tudor, and then did that, that'd be crazy.
They could be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Get rid of the snowflake hands, do something a little bit different, put an old waffle dial, like actually make an interesting watch. Make a interesting watch for a change. Jesus Christ.
The Air King is like the test model for Rolex.
Right.
Let Tudor be the more aggressive test brand for Rolex.
That would actually be the first Tudor that for more than a month people can't get and want. There would be a list for that watch.
Yeah,
it would be like, wow, that's nuts. They actually designed something as opposed to just reappropriated the same thing they designed in 2012 and like again,
shrink it down, slim it up, change the color is kind of their movement right now.
Come on.
I think what's interesting is Tudor was founded when Hans Wilsdorf was still around, and it was like, well, look at this brilliant thing, which was essentially the quirkiest thing that has ever happened in the watch world. You have parts that are branded for another watch company on your watch with a different movement.
Yes.
If Tudor adapted that philosophy, not of taking Rolex parts, but just like, that's weird. That's a very weird thing to do. Yeah. If they were just more daring, that would be wild.
It would be wild, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only other like improvements that I would do would be like, I do think the Black Bay Chrono needs work. I mean, that's fine. The Black Bay Chrono needs work. I mean, I think it does.
I think the Black Bay Pro needs work too.
The Black Bay Pro does need work. I think it's a cool watch. I think it's a cool watch. It's obviously their answer to the Explorer. I mean, whatever. I think it's pretty cool. Big, but that's fine. What else are you going to say about Tudor? You're going to say, the bracelets could be a little bit thinner, maybe a bit of proportion. That's the if we had a Tudor get together, where everyone had to wear a Tudor, what the fuck would we talk about?
Yeah, right.
Our fucking watches?
Right.
No.
Right.
No, I'm really jumping over the watch stuff, and I'm going to talk about like personal pretty quickly. At a Grand Seiko event, everyone's looking like, but you see, because people
I told you, people are pulling out loops and telling me about things.
There's a conversation about it.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we going to talk about with Tudor?
Yeah. Fully agree.
Lady Gaga's album with Tony Bennett, that's probably what I'm going to talk about.
He does vocal exercises every single day.
I know. Piccato, though. It's the poor guy. I mean, they got to... He's lost it, in his brain.
Yeah.
He's got dementia. It's not good. It's not good.
No.
But, is it sad? Sometimes it is, watching him. Because he forgets, and it's like, oh my God.
Dude, any performer that was to that level that is performing and it's like they're lacking.
Yeah.
It's like, it's heartbreaking because you really want to go to their show, but you're like, do I want to watch?
I know. You know what it reminds me of? Like, if your grandfather was a phenomenal singer, you would listen to him sing until the day he dies, and it doesn't matter if he forgets the lyrics, because
Right.
it would be so heartwarming. And that seems to be a different vibe than like what we see sometimes, which is he actually just forgets and it's like sad.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they haven't made him the fucking president, but you knew that was coming. You
Yeah.
knew that was coming. But it's the truth. Like, yeah, it is sad. It is sad. I love Tony Bennett.
You know, Frank
Hate Frank
Costanza.
Sinatra. Love Tony Bennett. Frank Costanza.
What's his real name? Stiller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jerry Stiller?
Jerry Stiller, yeah.
They said for the most part, and I don't think it was because his mind was going, that he forgot his lines on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So it's why he had the very like specific way of speaking.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, and then
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, I think it's hysterical.
Steve Martin and Ben Stiller were like doing like a gag. Did you see this? Like
No.
to promo SNL. So they were whatever. It was like they were digging each other back and forth, and Steve Martin called him a nepo baby. I love Ben Stiller. He's phenomenal.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he really is.
Anyway, so that's it. What would we talk about it a fucking two? I mean, all this lady has to get fixed.
Okay. Let's jump into
pathetic.
this
Oh,
conversation.
stop it.
Let's jump into this
How
conversation.
little do you think of women? This is misogynistic. I'll go that far. You must think women are dumb as doornails if this is what you... I mean, this is terrible.
My question is,
There's some poor guys, like, I just got my wife on.
some poor guys.
Some of them are cool. Listen, I'm not saying that. Some of them are kind of cool, right? Like the Tudor glamour date day is cool. It could be cooler, and I totally get why someone would buy it.
Oh, yeah.
I understand, right? I understand that it fills a place in the market. I understand that that there's a function for it. Right, and I can understand why women would like it because it is elegant. It is the Tudor equivalent of the Rolex Lady Day Dress. I understand all that.
Yeah.
But the reality is, the reason that I'm outraged by this stuff is Tudor has taken a very lazy approach to all these watches, and it just annoys me. Is it so? You do no original design anywhere in your collection, so your designer shouldn't be very busy.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them to spend a little bit of time on glamours. You know what probably is relevant here? I bet that they're so overstocked on those watches that they can't even fucking make a new one. They're probably decreasing production to just get rid of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or they're just going to end up either being burned or something's up there. Those watches are so out of date. Those watches are Tudor of 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Like,
This is my point.
outta here.
This is my
Come
exact
on.
point. Which, before we even get to that final point, if you're a salesman, you're a Rolex salesman.
I am a salesman.
Right. Well,
If you were a salesman,
if you were a good salesman, if you're a Rolex salesman,
yes.
you think I could sell the Daytona this way.
Yes.
I could sell the Submariner this way.
Yes.
If someone wants to upgrade, I go Sea Dweller. That
Right.
is this versus
Right.
that, right? You have that.
Right.
And even just the names, date just. What's important about this? That.
Right.
And you could probably name all the Rolex things on one hand.
glamour.
No. Watch this. So, subcategories: Black Bay, sport watches, classic watches, women's watches, diving watches.
Makes no sense.
And then,
First of all, diving watches, they are black bays. Like, what are we talking about here?
well, so you want a Black Bay?
Yeah.
Okay, you're the salesman again. Do you want a Black Bay? Do you want a Black Bay 58? Do you want a Black Bay 32, 36, 41?
It's ridiculous.
Do you want a Black Bay 32, 36, 41 steel and gold?
Yes.
There's no
It's too
pride in
much.
even the naming part of
No.
that, which really, that's the part that bugs me the most because...
It's a brand without pride. I definitely agree with that.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what, because I do think the Black Bay is a fantastic value.
So do I.
Black Bay 58 is better size for me. Cool watch. But then it comes to like, you look at this website and I'm like, I understand where you sit now because there's so many other amazing brands that will hit you at this price that are doing more unique things. But like, come on, the connection you have is insane.
I agree.
So that goes into the last conversation of predictions. If I had to toss them out, I hope they update the 36 in some cool way. I think they can make it look like the OP with different dial colors.
Yep.
I think they can integrate titanium into the Black Bay. Mm-hmm. I think they could definitely integrate something into the 36 again, like titanium.
Yep.
I think they can do actual ceramic models in the Black Bay 58.
Yep.
And then with like the Black Bay bronze, that there's a full bronze bracelet. Mm-hmm. I think they could take that philosophy and do it with sterling silver, which no one else has done.
Yeah.
Brief overview, whatever.
Yeah.
Predictions are going to be safe. I bet they'll do the Pelagos 39 in blue. I bet that's going to be the crazy thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So now my prediction, and it's not even a prediction, what I hope they do is slash most of their models and change their naming convention.
I agree with that.
That's what I hope they do.
Yeah, which was kind of the theme of the Rolex conversation the other day too. It's like more important than the watch they can release, restructure it a little bit. And it's not Rolex. Rolex shouldn't restructure. Rolex is constantly focusing on their structure. More important than even the watches, because the watches are already exactly what they need to be. So, but you're right. Tudor needs to clean house. Tudor needs a decisive leader, and I just don't think they have it.
Okay. Then this is what we'll finish off with.
Black
Bay Pro, Black Bay GMT, Black Bay Chrono, Black Bay 31, 36, 39, 41, Black Bay 58, Black Bay 32, 36, 41, Black Bay Bronze, Black Bay P01. Come on. So, yeah, my vote is Slice and Dice. We have the Tudor Royal. We have the Ranger. We have some banging models in there.
Yes.
Pull those forward.
Yes.
Sunset most everything else.
Yep.
And then with this philosophy or a new, better, updated philosophy, pull those back up.
Yep.
And have a killer alternative to Rolex in the Datejust world and all these other worlds too.
Agreed. The Tudor Royal is an interesting watch because, it's some of its case design is... It reminds me of the Tissot PRX.
I was about to say, yeah.
So it's somewhere between Tissot PRX and Rolex, right? Like, which is a weird, it's weird, but that's definitely what it is because clearly it's an oyster quartz looking thing.
Of course.
And no one gives a fuck about it because they missed on the design. It's good. It's not great.
It's also
probably their
the
best ladies watch, I think.
Yep.
I think it's the best. Yeah, I don't know if I would do mother of pearl, but it's their best ladies watch. Oh, wow. They've got some cool ones. Yeah.
For ladies.
Yeah, got some cool ones for ladies. That's their best ladies watch.
Yeah, it's a Datejust.
100%.
Women's Datejust.
Yep. Except oyster quartz. That's the direction that Tudor should be going in. This is the watch that guys should be buying for their girlfriends or girlfriends buying for whatever. This is the watch. The Datejust is a little bit out of reach financially for a lot of people. Obviously, this is obviously out of reach for a lot of people. But this can be aspirational and still closer, right? It's 30, it's always miles closer than the Rolex. This is a good design. It's not perfect in the men's category. The men's one misses. Yep. It's not aggressive enough, and it's too elegant.
Very small.
It's not right. It's not right yet. That watch should be revamped.
Yes.
Not by much. Not by much here, guys. Look at the PRX. Look at the success there. How do you say, okay, PRX...
This is essentially our watch.
The PRX is great, but it's a piece of shit compared to this. Meaning, I don't feel that way, but that would be the Tudor brand speak, right? Like, the PRX, it's cute, but this is the Tudor date day.
Yeah.
This is the real watch. That would be the kind of the narrative. That's the sales pitch, kind of.
100%.
And yet the PRX understood the design language a little bit better. The PRX understood the culture better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I guess that's our prediction, or I guess I should say our hopes.
Our hopes.
Our predictions are really they're going to play it safe. We have hopes.
We have hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys.